Welcome. My name is Ben Boomer. You may recognize me from the video, Hopi Kinship and Culture, Honoring the Earth Honors Us All. I will be referencing that video as I give voice to the thoughts of Anne Coe throughout this video. Thanks for watching. As the Hopi people believed that honoring the earth honors us all, and Anne Coe looked to nature for inspiration, we too as a coalition look to the environment for inspiration and hope, and believe in the preservation of our environment. Julie Butzine, curator of modern and contemporary art at the Tucson Museum of Art, has this to say. While some writers have considered Anne Coe to be a study in contrasts because of her disparate qualities of conservationist and capitalist, discipline and whimsy, dreamer and realist, it is such differences that make her significant as an artist today. One cannot create art with a myopic, lacking imagination, foresight, or intellectual insight, sensibility, or function in society without those contrasts if one of the main reasons for the act of creation is to effect change and awareness. Anne Coe's paintings and story as an internationally recognized conservationist and artist are revealed within the book Wisdom of the Wild, which documents Anne's primary objective for painting these powerful artworks. Anne said to herself, "I looked at the world around me and asked, what can I do to fix this?" Anne goes on to say, having viewed the art history video number 1, Hopi Kinship and Culture, Honoring the Earth Honors Us All, has been a wonderful opportunity for me to revisit my past 45 years of art making and community activism as a conservationist. This follow-up video offers a means for the viewer to reflect on one's memories and consider researching one's culture. Viewers will be asked to respond to critical thinking questions during teacher-facilitated processes of examining and exploring various art-making techniques, inspiring students' artistic story. Each one of you is unique and important within this total population of humanity connected to the earth and all life. Please utilize your artistic gifts, whether they may be as a visual artist, writer, poet, performer, musician, human rights activist, teacher, nurturing and caring for your community as the Hopi people have on their land for over 2,000 years. Through this art-making curriculum and the video of the Hopi people, we are requesting of each viewer to take the journey through a maze of life. This is how one may promote and sustain compassion and respect for all people as we face many challenges in today's world. This painting, titled Maze to the Sacred Center by Dennis Numkina, depicts the journey we are all on in life. This journey is one of the things that unites us as human beings. Anne Coe outlines how her journey through the maze began. Anne is a true daughter of the West, a fourth-generation Arizonan. Coe was raised on a ranch in a remote part of the state where she developed a close affinity for the land. Her paternal great-grandfather arrived in Arizona during the early years of settlement as a medical missionary dedicated to native tribes. He aided many of Arizona's indigenous people with their health care, distributing medicine and other medical supplies. Catherine Coe, Anne's older sister, also spent many years in Arizona working through native health organizations and teaching at the University of Arizona Medical School. All of Anne's life, she would take risk after risk finding her truth, much like the bold and enterprising family that came before her. Anne studied in Europe and Latin America, receiving her Master of Fine Arts degree at Arizona State University in 1980. Active as a professional painter for over 45 years, Coe has combined her artistic endeavors with a keen involvement with environmental activism during the span of her career. Initiating the Superstition Area Land Trust, Ms. Coe has been a major force in over 7 regional and national environmental groups, focusing on everything from the introduction of the Mexican wolf to protecting the future of thousands of acres of state trust land. Coe's career has brought her recognition throughout the West and beyond. Bears have a long history of representation in art and often appear in Coe's artistic endeavors, quotes Abrams. The bear is my spiritual protector, paradoxically both comforter and destroyer. Please consider what images and symbols have deep meaning to you as an art student, art teacher, or viewer as you outline your narrative. Anne reflects on her paintings, stating they allow her to imagine a connection between the body and nature, self and place. Often I deal with the conflicts between the wild and civilized worlds. My work is filled with irony, humor, and contradictions, represented by the ambivalence as humans feel an innate need to own it. Who are your ancestors? How have they influenced your life? What assisted you to become this creative, seeking individual? Were you instructed to honor the earth and protect it as you grew up? Anne goes on to state, having viewed Hopi Video 1, please recall that the Hopi people, dwellers on their land, respect and celebrate the sustainability of cultivating corn for hundreds of generations. Many Hopi families teach their children how to raise it by hand. It has been stated that this Hopi life lesson has assisted their people to remain resilient and strong. The Hopi people value these acts of daily living as they tend and harvest their crops. This painting by Dennis Numkina is titled Hopi Corn Maiden. In the background of this painting is Palenque, an important Mayan city in the Chiapas Altiplano. While in Palenque, Dennis Numkina shared with me a story passed on to him from his grandfather about groups of Hopis that would travel that far south to where the howling hairy people lived in the trees, and they would come back with exotic, colorful feathers and other treasures from southern Mexico and possibly further. We have learned of this important connection to the Hopi people's values and ways of daily living as they tend to and harvest their crops. These thoughtful acts of community building appear to have sustained their lives over many centuries. Dennis honors this practice within the artwork displayed. Consider what your acts of daily living may reveal about you, and consider creating artworks for others to enjoy. Please note the example by former South Mountain High School art student and recent ASU art graduate, Gloria Martinez Granados. For inspiration, Anne also invites art students to visit the many cultural museums in Arizona, where one may enjoy native resources and history, the honoring and teachings of indigenous people and their ways of life and sustainability. Please seek them out. Through the works of the Cultural Arts Coalition's mission and vision statements, the CAC requests of its participants to respect all persons' cultural and spiritual practices and ceremonies. When an art student is creating various sketches of one's design, it is vital to remain respectful by not appropriating artworks, symbols, and themes which are considered to be off-limits to the public. Please consider the message in Hopi Video Number 1 of not appropriating the Hopi Katsina images within one's artworks. Hopi wisdom is based on historical migration and emergence memories that go beyond time immemorial. The Cultural Arts Coalition, celebrating global connections, has created this cultural arts and environmental curriculum outlining a critical thinking humanities process for investigating and revealing one's own stories. Please take the time to carefully review the artistic aspects of Dennis Numkina's Emergence painting. In Dennis's painting Emergence, he addresses the images within this complex work of art. The large rattle held in possibly an ancient Mayan hand, including the hands of all the human images moving upward, creating the heartbeat of the rattle that is given children around the earth when they are first born. The repetitive rhythm in the rattle is present in many musical compositions worldwide by persons of very diverse cultural backgrounds. The movement of the uppermost individual in the center calls to one to move through the 4 half circles of Hopi migration upward in connection with the indigenous persons of the Yucatan. This movement infers unity of action, creating a place of global peace and harmony. Observe the use of complementary colors juxtaposed one next to another as designs dance across the canvas in flowing movement. Dennis wishes to inspire one's discovery of personal awakenings as you paint an image, or a composition of a larger artwork. Rituals and events of daily life also reveal our stories as we move through each day. Is there any artwork you might consider creating with symbols and messages from your world, which are thoughtful, visual compositions to be shared with others? Anne titles this kind of art making with deep meaning and personal as paying tribute in paint. This information is once again in her book, Anne Coe, Wisdom of the Wild, by Amy Abrams. Anne's father had died in a sailing incident while on a family vacation. It was important for her to pay tribute to him. Dr. Coe's work has been invaluable to the arts community when addressing the subject of what art has been in human evolution and its importance in our world today. Catherine Coe says about her sister's paintings, "Looking at Anne's art is seeing a chronicle of her life and key events of our family, beginning with the altars she made and continuing through the paintings in honor of family members." In the first video, you learned as a student that there is no word for art in the Hopi language. As we end this video, I would like to quote a final statement by Anne Coe. "All Hopi cultural resources are a means to see and pass on the Hopi way. They are sacred. So I'm asking of you in the context of this art-making lesson plan to create your visual story, allowing others to see your world and celebrate oneself through your creative expressions. I honor each one of you as you travel through this maze of life. Enjoy and thank you for your attention." Anne Elizabeth Coe.